That was Cleo Lane on K-Jazz, Oh Lady Be Good, from an album Live in Manhattan. And before her was Billy Vera, and he's in a room with a view of the blues, man. That's no good. But it's a great song, and he does it great. He's not so blue that he can't knock us out with another tune he is. Up next is Al Jarreau on K-Jazz with Route 66, and that's right after the break.
It can be a little intimidating to think about a gift of $200 or $300, even though you honestly value K-Jazz and the music. If it seems difficult to give larger amounts as a one-time gift, break it up. A sustaining member pays a small amount each month. It adds up to a lot of listening and a generous show of support to K-Jazz. To become a sustaining member,
KKJZ-FM and HD1 Long Beach, Los Angeles. This is KJazz 88.1, a service of California State University, Long Beach.
We've got all your jazz favorites, plus the Great American Songbook on the Steve Tyrell Show on KJazz 88.1. We're going to start this last hour off as we ride home together with Frank Sinatra, and a song that was written by Rodgers and Hart for their musical pal Joey. In 1940, the song was written, but Frank Sinatra got around to doing the movie and singing it in 1957. And like he did so many great songs in the Great American Songbook, when he sang it, it became a standard that will live forever. This is Frank's version of Bewitched by
Hello, and welcome to the Planning Commission meeting of February 21st, 2017. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Campbell will lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Chair Matchin,
Here.
Commissioner Aguilar, absent. Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Commissioner Campbell,
Here.
Commissioner Klinger, absent. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. By motion of the Planning Commission, this is the time to notify the public of any changes to the agenda, rearrange the order of the agenda, and provide an opportunity for any member of the Planning Commission or staff to request an item be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as it stands?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. This still isn't working.
Still not working? Vote again?
Yeah, it's just not working here, so I can't see.
What do you do to
Oh,
the button?
you know what? There they go.
Oh, it just didn't hit it the first time.
Still not working.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can turn them off.
3-0. Motion passes. At this time, members of the public may address the Planning Commission regarding any items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the Commission cannot discuss or take action on any items not on the agenda unless authorized by law. Those members of the public wishing to speak are asked to come forward to the microphone and state their name for the record. All speakers will be limited to a period of 5 minutes.
Good evening, Planning Commission, Chair, staff, members of the public. Seth Eker, resident Old Town, Black Marble Consulting. So I just wanted to comment on your business item 5, the request for minor use permit. As someone who has been involved in several minor use permits, I just wanted to offer support to this minor use permit and to support staff's recommendation. I think that it's nice to see that we're moving projects forward, even though they're non-conforming in Old Town, in a sensible, reasonable way. And that concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to approach the Commission? Right. Oral communications closed. Okay. Now for the consent calendar. We have before us 2 sets of minutes, and it has been, we have determined that both sets of minutes can be voted on by all present commissioners. Approval of Planning Commission meeting minutes from October 17th.
I move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Please vote. Motion passes. Approval of Planning Commission meeting minutes from January 17th, 2017. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Please vote. Motion passes. Under new business, We'll first be hearing minor use permit 16-11. Can we have a staff report, please?
Good evening, Madam Chair and fellow commissioners. Item 3 this evening is 11B Surfside Avenue, minor use permit 1611, to allow the addition of a covered roof access structure on a proposed single-family residence in the Surfside Colony residential low-density area. This item will be pretty similar to our next one, which is item 4. So I'm going to go through it strictly in this one, and then we'll give you an abridged one on the next one. But because they're going to be separate parcels, they are going to be separate items and voted on separately. The location site is right off of Pacific Coast Highway in the Surfside Colony area. The current parcel, or the parcel before the parcel map, was this parcel right here and this parcel right here. Again, they're located in Surfside Colony, and it's surrounded by residential units. A tentative parcel map was approved late last year by the technical committee. It still has to go to coastal, and the tentative parcel map and the proposed residential have Surfside Colony, have been reviewed by Surfside Colony and approved by Surfside Colony. The layout of the proposed unit meets all of our zoning requirements. And what we're looking at here tonight is this structure that's located right here on the northwest side of the unit. It's L-shaped, and the reason we're here this evening is because the height limit for this particular area is 35 feet. The unit itself goes up approximately 4 feet 6 inches above that height limit. An MUP is required if you're going to exceed that height limit per our development code in Surfside Colony, and it allows up to 7 feet in height. So this is below that maximum. As you can see here, there's a deck that's on the roof of this structure, and this is the guardrail for that deck. The 4'6" starts at that guardrail and goes up for the covered roof access structure. The reason for the covered roof access structure is because the entire stairway is within the building, so you have to be able to make your way up, and for rain purposes and things like that, they allow this covered roof access structure. It's right off of Pacific Coast Highway, so there are no views that are obstructed or anything like that, because it's Pacific Coast Highway just on the other side. We did not receive any correspondence regarding this project, and with that, that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of staff? Okay, having none, we will move on to the public hearing, which is now open. Is the applicant here? I am. Would you like to address the commission? Is there anyone else here who would like to address the commission on this matter? Public hearing is closed. And any discussion?
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Please vote. And it passes 3-0. Congratulations.
Madam Chair, there is a 10-day appeal period from decisions of the Planning Commission. That appeal period starts running tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to a very similar MUP 16-12. Can you give us the abridged version, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. At 12B Surfside, again, we've got another minor use permit to add a covered roof access structure on a single-family residence within Surfside Colony. Again, as you can see, this is the other side of that property, which will also have a 3-story single-family residence placed on it. Again, it's in the northwest corner. It's a little bit different in shape and size than the previous one, just due to the architectural elements and characteristics of it. So that's why it's actually up almost a foot higher. So this one's actually 5 foot 4 inches, but still within the 7 foot range that's allowed per the development code with a minor use permit. Again, it went through tentative parcel map, and it does have the Architectural Review Committee's approval. With that, no correspondence has been received, and with that, I conclude my presentation.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions of staff? All right. Public hearing is now open. Is the applicant here? I'm still here. Oh, of course. And you still have nothing to say, I bet. I don't. Okay, then public, is there anyone else who would like to address this matter? Public hearing is now closed. Discussion.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Please vote. Minor use permit 16-12 passes 3-0. Congratulations.
And again, there is a 10-day appeal period from this decision to the City Council. That appeal period starts running tomorrow.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to minor use permit 17-1. And may we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Item 5 this evening is at 221 15th Street for minor use permit 17-1. This is to allow the alterations of interior walls to alter the kitchen, add a front porch, a deck, and replace a window with a French door to an existing single-family residence on a property which is non-conforming due to parking and setbacks in the residential high-density zoned area. This particular property is on the west side of 15th Street, located between Electric Avenue and Landing Avenue. It's surrounded by single-family residences. The current property has a guest house, a two-car garage, and the main dwelling in the front up near 15th Street. The nonconformity is due to the side yard setback for the guest house and the side yard setback for the garage. The main house itself exceeds the setback requirements for this particular zone, which is 5 feet because it's a 50-foot wide lot. The amenities that the applicant is proposing is a wraparound front porch and a deck that goes along the front of the property. He's also planning on replacing a window in this area with the French door. And in the kitchen area, he has walls that are currently up around this area. He wants to put in a countertop and lower the walls so it gives it a more open kitchen. And the kitchen's currently located in this portion of the residence. As you can see, the applicant is upgrading the front of the house by putting a gabled porch out here, French windows, and a bay window, which is actually not a part of this, but it is part of the upgrade for the front of the house. We did not receive any correspondence for this particular item, and with that, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. I just have one thing to mention before I open it up to the commission, and that is just a minor correction on the analysis. I noticed that it was in the description or site location was stated between Electric Avenue and Ocean Avenue. So for a minute there, I thought that it was within my little map area. Any questions for staff?
I have none.
No.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Oh, yeah, I think I do.
Yeah.
At this time, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to address this matter? We will close the public hearing. And now, do you have any discussion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Please vote. Okay. 3-0, motion passes. And finally, 15 minutes in, we're at number 6, Zone Text Amendment 17-2. And can we have a staff report?
Oh, and I forgot to do my 10-day appeal period spiel. That decision can be appealed to the city council within 10 days. The appeal period starts running tomorrow.
Thank you. Now can we have a staff report?
Good night. So tonight we have a comprehensive, we have Zone Text Amendment 17-2. A little bit of a background is that there was a comprehensive update of the zoning code that was completed in 2010, where the previous regulations, formerly known as Chapter 28, were reformatted into what we now use as Title 11. In this update, written text was formatted into a table. During this reformat, some development standards were inadvertently changed because the table omitted the front yard setback exception that existed for properties abutting Seal Way. These properties were allowed to have a 0 front yard setback. Zone Text Amendment 17-2 proposes to restore this development standard so that properties along Seal Way are no longer considered non-conforming. Staff has received no comments regarding Zone Text Amendment 17-2, and this concludes staff's report. I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
This is just housekeeping.
Yeah. All right. Then in that case, we will open the public hearing.
Good evening, Commission, Chair, members of staff, the public, Seth Eaker, Black Marble Consulting. I love, I think that's Ariel. Yeah. Right, okay. Just wanted to double check. You know, this is, I think, a really important item from a community standpoint and also from an understanding standpoint. And I'm really excited, and I want to thank staff and the Commission for doing this and taking care of this. This is one of those crucial things that I think the public needs to understand. And there can be a lot of confusion at the counter, you know, when things like this are missed. So I really give a lot of credit to you all for moving this item forward. Matter of fact, I also want to say just generally, this agenda is probably one of the most dense agendas, and we've done it in 20 minutes, and I'm, like, thrilled. So this feels like, I mean, the way Planning Commission should work. But anyway, no disrespect to our missing commissioners. Again, a lot of support to this, and I would also highlight to the Commission, I think perhaps, I could be mistaken, but there are some other areas, and I've talked with staff at various times over the last few years, where there are some ambiguities in various tables and charts, and it might be worth it at some point, and I would offer the Commission and staff that maybe some further review to clarify some things would be really helpful. At least, again, as someone who deals regularly with staff, any kind of gray area, and I know there'll always be gray areas, produce confusion. And this is actually, let's say, white when it was supposed to be black. You know, there was actually an incorrect thing. So I'm not saying there are more incorrect things, but there may just be a few things that if we all kind of work together, I think we could clarify some other items that would be really helpful for everyone. So thank you very much, and I support staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this matter? Having none, public hearing is closed. Any questions or discussion?
No, it's just routine. It's housekeeping. Move for approval.
I'll second.
Please vote. 3-0. Motion passes.
Did we set a record for the shortest meeting?
I think so. Just about.
Short meeting.
Okay. Do we have a director's report from our acting director?
There's nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay. Commission concerns. I have one. I just wanted to, can we get kind of an update on the current pump situation? I know it's a little bit of a tough subject, but we had a lot of weather, and we just went through another storm over the weekend. So can you tell us kind of where we are right now?
A little bit out of my jurisdiction. My general understanding, there was an issue with Pump 1, but Pump 2, which was there for redundancy, was able to kick on. It served its purpose, and the station was able to operate as it was meant to over the weekend during the heaviest part of the storm on Friday and into Saturday. And that's just my very general understanding of what occurred.
Okay, thank you. Any other concerns or questions?
I have none.
All right. Then, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Just adjourn.
Okay. We adjourn the meeting to March 6th, 2017. Thank you.
Someone's just outside knocking